Claim that power to me. Claim that power. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me.
Charmaine, peace and freedom, welcome. I am Queen Mother Imakhu. It's my pleasure to be with you on this evening. I hope you had a wonderful day, and I hope that your weekend has been productive. We are at the last day of June. Can you believe that? You know, time seems to just go by so quickly. And I'm gonna disclose something to you. You know, for those of us who have been living with and healing from severe trauma, you may find that the people who you know who do have problems with time. That's a legitimate thing. You get dysregulated very easily as far as time, kind of disconnected from it. And so forcing yourself in many ways to get back on track with basic time regulation is a lot of work. But it is, if you keep at it, then you'll find that it is successful for you. And success is the key word that we have for today. Now, I also want to encourage you to take notes, especially my students out there. Please, please, please open your notebook and pen and jot down notes. We're going to have a very informative session. For my students, some of this information you will already know, but bring some difference and enhanced information. Today's topic, and peace and blessings to you, Brandon. I see you. It's good to always see you here. And by the way, please, for those of you who are watching, please share that I'm on the air. Subscribe if you have not subscribed to my YouTube. Bounce over to Facebook and subscribe to my facebook.com/Imakhu fan page. I'm working to build both up now that I am more fully engaged and working really hard to be the best person that I can be. You know, one of my spiritual names is Neferet. Neferet, what is that? We'll find out all about that today. But in the meantime, just drop in the chat how you're doing. How are you feeling today? Is today a good day? Has the week been a good week? We're going to proclaim that this upcoming week is going to be a great week as we enter into June and continuing on our spiritual cleanse, our purification period, and also our introspection, but also owning the summer of joy. Joy, yes. So, today's topic. And then, oh, you know what? Let me set the atmosphere here. Beautiful guitar music. The guitar is significant. Who remembers why I love the guitar? If you remember, then drop it in the chat. And why the guitar is sacred to Kemetic culture. Today's topic. Neferet, the art of successful communication. In life, communication is everything. How you communicate, when you communicate, if you should communicate, and understanding that there is a definite science that goes along with it. Let me bring myself back in the picture here. My hand is here at my throat, and I have this beautiful piece of jewelry on to indicate my throat, and also the color blue, which is prevalent for today's chat because blue is the color of the throat erit, which we also know as Neferet. Neferet. Okay, so before we dive in, let me also just say a quick prayer. giving thanks and praise for this day. Duau necheru, paut necheru iaku ishapsu. We thank you so much for another opportunity to come together, to learn, to share, to be elevated, to come to deeper knowledge of self and also of our culture. We ask that you would protect our sacred spaces, protect our bodies, protect those who are in our circle, and also protect all that is near and dear to us, and teach us to open to receive the best things that you have for us in life in accordance with our life paths. As we leave the unnecessary things behind, we are opening and attracting in all that is good. Chef Nefer, good energy, and Neferu, good things. We ask all of these things in your divine name as we ask Besud, please bring us through the portal as Beset opens the way. Give thanks and praise. Amen, Imenit. And so please share the good word. So, Neferet. Here is the definition of Neferet. Neferet, which is symbolized, as you see on the left side of the screen, as what looks to be an anchor, but it is the Kemetic symbol for the heart, the trachea, and the mouth. Underneath it is what seems to be a little hill, but it represents a piece of bread, which is a divine feminine symbol, and the sound is t or t. It's called te, okay? But when you see that little hill, that little lump there, that rounded piece of bread, it is the sound of T, and it feminizes a word. The symbol up top is Nefer. On the bottom, it is T, Neferet. Neferet. Neferet is goodness, purity, beauty, prosperity, happiness, and success. It is also the word for lute, which is an ancient guitar. Yes, they actually did have them back in ancient Kemet. The root words of Neferet. Nef. Nef means air, wind, breath, liberation. Nefer means assuredly, like, yeah, of course. It means to succeed, and it means to prosper. Nefer and Neferet means the white crown of purity. Yes. Now, as I'd shared, one of the root words is nef. Nef is also nif or nifu. In the practice that I teach of Shenu Kemetic Yoga, inhale and then exhale is nifa. Nifa. Okay? So it is the breath. It is knowing that you are alive. It is the beauty of knowing that you are alive, and also understanding that how you live is important. And it is also indicative of the kind of character that you have. Now, the symbol for nef or nefu is this. It is the sail of a ship. As you know, or maybe you don't know, but here's the truth of it. Ancient Kamites were great mariners, so they saw the world and they mastered shipbuilding. There are documentaries that you can find on YouTube about the tremendous skill that ancient Kamites had in building airtight, watertight ships, and the tremendous masts, that MASTS, that they would build in order to sail. In order to really travel far on a boat, you need to have a mast. And the mast picks up the air and the currents and helps you to travel along more safely. If there's too much air, if it's dangerous wind, then the mast gets rolled up. But generally, if you want to travel faster, you drop down your mast and you sail on the air. So this is a success symbol, okay? Nifu, nifu, nef. Oh, this also represents communication. This is from my my Shenu Renu deck. So this is the correlation of the symbol in the ancient Kemetic runes. No, the runes that are associated with European culture. These came first. You find these in Ethiopia, and also these variations of these are found in Kemet, because I traced every single symbol back to ancient Kemetic Medu Neter. Okay. Communication. When you are able to sail and go other places and explore what is in other worlds, it opens up your mind. When you are able to give voice to your new experiences, it gives you power, because you're able to bring information by conveying what you have seen and what you have experienced. Also, getting an understanding of what is in new territory helps you to be able to expand your territory, not only for where you choose to live, but also for things that you might want to bring back. You might come into people who have customs who are different than yours, maybe similar than yours, but then you come back and you share that information, and that helps to empower those who are in your community. Okay. And the power of the throat. Power of the throat. A lot of us don't necessarily take care of our voices and our throats in the way that we need to. You know, we may yell a lot. We may not speak up enough. You know, we may find ourselves kind of getting lax in the vocal cords, and even, believe it or not, in your neck muscles. You know, I mean, you know, we have an aging process. Yes, we have muscles in our necks, but you'll find that there's a whole other way that the muscles are used when you engage in conversation on a consistent basis. And then also for those of us who are vocalists, you know, in order to truly be the best at our craft, then we have to exercise that muscle as well. We have vocal exercises that we do. You'll find that there are a lot of singers who also do that. And so the care and feeding of the throat is highly important. And also you want to make sure that the muscles stay open so that you're able to swallow well, you're able to drink, to eat, and so that the air is able to come in and out well. Now, I'll tell you, I had this surgery done, and I discovered that there were a lot of muscles that I had in my throat that, believe it or not, had atrophied. And so I've had to do work to build those muscles back up, because the fact that I am a speaker and I am a singer, and because I was trying to avoid talking, I was not, and also singing, I was not using those muscles that I was used to using. So being able to flex that muscle again is a really good thing. I actually started getting voice lessons when I was in high school at age 14, freshman year. That was a blessing. And then being able to get private voice coaching from not only my choir teacher in school, but then also from other musicians who gifted me with voice lessons because they saw something in me and wanted to encourage me to go far. It was a blessing. So take care of your voice. Okay. Now, I also consider my guitar to be my voice. You know, I was having a discussion with a friend last night and sharing how, believe it or not, my favorite instrument, because I have a lot here, my favorite instruments are not my drums. I love my drums and percussion, and actually have a whole lesson that I've been able to create around the ancient voices associated with each of these drums, including for my udu, my water drums, including for the talking drum. These were all forms of communication back in the day. But As much as I love them, my favorite instrument is my guitar. It has been the one that has been able to speak to my soul. It is the one that I would pull out whenever I was in my teenage angst, and there's just something so beautiful about the sounds of it, the feel of the strings, the technique that goes along with learning it, and knowing that there are certain power chords that you can play that actually automatically elevate people, make them feel better about themselves and about their environment. Very, very, very healing instrument. Well, they had a version of the guitar in ancient Kemet. Neferet. Now you see there are musicians there, and so you have the harpist, you have the one playing the neferet, the lute, okay, and then you have another that's playing double reed flute, and then also another harpist on the end. They had varieties of harps in ancient Kemet. And then you see on your screen on the left hand side, you see one of the lutes that was well, it's still preserved in a museum today. If you look it up, and I encourage you to Google it, then you will see the various instruments, the various neferet that were preserved. And you'll see also, if you look at it, you see that it resembles the symbol, the little blue symbol that you see. The beauty of having an instrument that will help you to be able to give voice to how you feel, songs and songwriting, taking poems and making them come to life, or even to just sit and fingerpick, or strum chords to soothe your soul. It's so beautiful. It truly is. Now, I'd said at the very top that Neferet is actually one of my spiritual names. It comes after Mutnasutkai Imakhu, and it's Mu Neferet, and then there's two more parts. But Mu Neferet means she who flows in success. Neferet, again, means goodness, beauty, success, purity. But that name was also given to one of my guardians, Hatmayit. She was known as Neferet, Hatmayit the Good. Hatmayit, for those of you who remember, you've been around for a while watching my broadcasts, you know that she is the fish goddess, if you will, for lack of a better term, or the fishnet shurt, the fish guardian. Well, she is the one who is first known, the oldest known to have a fish crown. Her name, Hatmeit, means she of the abundant heart. Hat is heart. Um, it is also the crown. And Mehit is abundance or fish, a lot of fish. So it is she who is the leader of fish, because Hat also indicates leadership. That's what the crown is about. So leadership, she who is the leader of fish, she who guides you to abundance, she of the abundant heart. So her name indicates that she is not only about the crown, but she is also about the heart. And as you can see with the symbol for Neferet, the lower part represents the heart, and the vertical line is the trachea, and the horizontal line represents the mouth. So what proceeds from your mouth indicates the kind of character that you have, whether you are a good person or if you are pretty selfless and hurtful in your words, or if you're thoughtless. And again, our practice is mindfulness. So, in the next broadcast, I'll be sharing the scriptures that relate to the throat because it's so much information and I don't want to keep us long. But I did want to at least delve in and also share with you um, to think about what happens if you can't find words to say. That happens to me, especially because I'm on the spectrum and sometimes I can be like a deer in the headlights. And there is a scripture that talks about the importance of waiting before you come out of your face, right? Somebody does something like yesterday. I was at a protest march, and good Lord, it was long. I said I was never going to march again, and but I did because I really believed in this cause for this young man and his wife who were actually brutalized by the police, and it was completely needless and unjustified. And so the protest was on their behalf, but I didn't know it was going to be so long. Because I'm telling you, I had said that I wasn't going to do any more marches. But, sometimes you just got to change the rules on yourself, okay? Hey, cuz, how you doing? It's so good to see you. I love coming on live because it's like I get a chance to talk to my family I've been talking to a long time. You need to catch up with me and let me know how you're doing. And if you don't have my current number, because I've tried to get you like over the last year several times, then just put a message in my social media so that way I have your number if I don't have the correct number. Okay. All right. Because I do worry about you. Make sure you're okay. Okay. So, yeah, communication. Okay. This is okay. I'll look for it in the inbox. Love you. So, this is a wonderful thing I can say regarding communication before I go back to what I was saying. So, we have the airwaves now, and we're able to keep up with people that you haven't been able to keep up with. It's great. It's wonderful, and it's important to keep up with your family. Especially if you've been in situations that have been abusive, if you've been isolated, and then you realize after a while that you basically have been, it's like you've been set adrift without a sail. Okay, you're just by yourself, and it's not anything that you did. It's when you have somebody who's trying to pull you away from people who are supporting you, then it's a process where it slowly happens, and then you find that your loved ones who had checked in on you on a regular basis before, who contacted you on a regular basis before, peace, I'm on live, I'll call you back. Okay, peace. So I need to put an automatic response on for people, where was I? Yeah. So anyway, we have the internet. It's a wonderful way of communicating. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We have cell phone. Okay. Instantaneous communication, and also texting. And by the way, for those of y'all who want to get to me the most immediately, and if I don't know who you are, then you should text me to identify who you are, because I am like the many black folks out here that do not, black and brown folks, I should say, who do not answer phones. If I don't know the number, I'm not answering, okay? You're going to have to leave a message so I can check it, but the most immediate way of getting me and letting me know that you're cool is with a text, okay? And if it turns out to be spam, I'm going to report you, just so you know. Okay. All right. So what I was saying before, so I'm on this protest, right? And it's a long walk, a really long walk. And listen, I started getting really just bedraggled. I had a long business meeting that morning with an organization that I was with. We had a board meeting with the board and the members. And, then after that, I had to go to the bank and, then just a couple of things. And then I had to make this long trek out to another part of New Jersey that's in northern Jersey to get to this in order to support our comrades. So I'm on this walk, and this woman saw, basically, I guess she could see I was suffering. because it was hot and I was tired. I was like, how much longer is this? So she came over to me and she said, because, the fact that the issue had to do with police um, um, violence and abuse and such. And I have to tell you, by the way, that I do have good friends who are police officers, and also that I just lost my cousin who was a loyal member of the state police. They just had a huge send off for him last month. And so this is a sensitive topic for me, but by the same token, I am very much aware of all of the abuse that I've experienced from policemen, police officers who don't do their jobs, who are abusive, who single you out for no reason, driving while black. Listen, that's a whole emotional thing I got to get over, because even though I'm ready to drive again, since it's been a year of being seizure free, the fact is I have memories of being stopped unnecessarily and harassed by the police with my little kids in the car at the time. This was years ago, because now they're in their 40s. I got my little children in the car and everybody else is speeding past me, but I get singled out. Okay. So many things where the police have failed. So I just want to make sure that I'm clear on that. All right. Because there's good and there's bad and everything. And in order for us to fix it, we must speak out when we see that it is wrong, and especially in in places and times when there is needless violence against people. So I just want to say that. But this woman comes up to me because she sees that I'm just, and she very smugly says, "You've had experience dealing with police before, situations before, right?" In my mind, I'm thinking, who do you think you are? Who are you? And how old are you? I guarantee that I've had more experiences with bad police situations than you've been, that have been longer than you've been on the planet. Okay. Yeah. Who are you to question my validity as far as why I'm here to support my friend on this march? But I didn't come out of my face. Instead, I just looked at her and I thought about our comedic way of approaching things. And in that moment, I just said, yes. But it took me a while to calm down from that because of the haughtiness that she came across with. Look, you don't know me. And I'm going to tell you something else. I realized yesterday that as an activist, there are a lot of things that those of us who are involved to the point where we go on marches and whatnot, or even if we throw ourselves into an issue that is familiar to us because we've been through it, it's triggering. Because in that moment, when she said that, all of a sudden, I realized that I was dealing with trying to repress all the crap that I've been through. And I believe that it is necessary for activists, whether you are marching, protesting, working behind the scenes, helping to give voice to somebody else, going to court with somebody, helping with food distribution, whatever it is. Because a lot of us who are activists are compelled to activism because of the system failing us in some way. And I've experienced that repeatedly in a number of ways. So I am compelled to make things better, to help others who don't have a voice to be able to speak up, to give them the words to say, to advise them of what their legal rights are as a victim, as a tenant, all of that. And I've learned all this because of what I've been through. But this is the same for others who have gone through things. And surely, yes, there are people who become activists because they feel it's the right thing to do, because it is their obligation as a citizen on the planet. And for that, listen, coming from that very pure place, it should be applauded. And not saying that for those of us who have been victimized by the system, that we're not coming from a pure place, because we are actually too. All right, I'm just going to send a message with this one. Please excuse me for a moment. I need to just send out a message to everybody to let them know. Okay. And turn do not disturb on my phone. Okay, so um but I was saying that I realized yesterday that for those of us who are in this very deeply, whether it is that you get politically involved in something directly or you join a number of, or even a single activist group that represents the cause, where you have people who are doing the work in order to affect change in society, it's still important to have a therapist to talk to, even if it's once in a while, because the fact that this can be highly triggering and you got to be able to talk yourself down, right? Because I'm telling you, we're not for my Kemetic teachings. And, listen, I've been raised a certain way, all right? So I'm not the person to just hair trigger come out of my face. But if I do, if I do, that's usually because I'm really at my threshold, and also because I'm really at a place of conviction, right? But generally, I will pause and then think about a better way to respond later if I have to come back, and if I ever see this person again and be, hey, you know what, blah, blah, blah. All right. So, when you find that you're voiceless, or if you feel as though you're voiceless, what do you do? Who can you speak to? Who can you bounce things off of in order to get an idea of what to say, and what will help you and what not to say? Um, well, this is one great thing about when you have friends who are truly in your circle, and if they know you and they understand how you communicate, and if they can give you some tips, because looking out for your best interest, that's really the best thing that you can do. One of the best things you can do. The other thing is, again, therapy. All right, talk to your therapist about it. Write out what you are thinking and feeling to help you process, because processing is so important. But then also, if it is a matter of timeliness, we talked in the very beginning about losing time and getting yourself back on track, then you also need to tap into that feeling that you have in that moment about your being worth protecting, your worthiness of using your words to explain what you feel, and also to tell people when they need to just back up off of you. Clarity is so vital, so that people are very clear, so that you are able to clearly communicate what you want people to clearly know about you. Okay? And in addition to that, wow, a lot of messages here. In addition to that, I want to talk a little bit about, from a metaphysical standpoint, about the things that Kemites would do in order to help protect the throat. Now, we saw the image of the lute, right? And of Neferet. Ancient Kemites believed that if they drank from bottles that were shaped like Neferets, and they prayed over the water, and we pray over the water, that it would bring them better health, and it would also help to open up the heart. Again, in the symbol, the heart and the trachea help to bring forth what comes out of the mouth. In this case, we have the mouth being the bottle of the lip, the mouth of the the opening of the bottle. But it's also an excellent practice. Like in mine, I don't drink from it. And it's so beautiful. I found this in the thrift store. Y'all know I love thrift stores. So I found this years ago, but I use this to anoint myself, you know. So in here, I have healing gemstones. I have actually a tiger's eye for courage. I have a rose quartz because the rose quartz is also associated with Neferet. Like I told you, um, Hatmeit, her name was Neferet, the good, and her name means heart. Hat is heart, but it's also the head, it's leadership. And it's believed that those two are connected too, just like the word Ib. Ib means heart. It also means head, and it also means intention. So um, the rose quartz is associated with love and the heart and with Hatmeit. So, oh, and I also have an amethyst in there, which is a beautiful healing stone, which brings calmness. Another really good stone is lapis lazuli. This is like the cure all, but the beautiful thing about this is that it does a gentle unlayering as you are healing. So it's not like ripping a band-aid off of a wound. It brings you to a place of resolution. Well, first it brings the issue up, then it brings the resolution to the issue. And when you are finally able to move on, then it unlayers the next level for your healing. Okay. So with this, I anoint myself with the water that's in here. And for those of you who are part of Shanu, you know the symbol that we use and the pattern that we have in doing the healing with your hands and also with your head, particularly giving attention to your crown, your first eye, back of the head. So that's a wonderful practice. When you do that, you would also want to take a correlative oil like rose oil. Rose oil enhances your sense of self-love and love for the world. And it just smells so divine. So you would just dab the oil and then the water and then do a mix and then do the anointing. With this stone, because of how it is shaped, you see it's flat on this side. And I don't remember where I got this from. I've had this about 20 years. And when you have stones for a long time, you want to make sure that you cleanse them, right? So you can put them in water and sit them in the sun. Or if you feel as though it has done its job and you want to just give it back to to the earth, then or to Father Geb, then you can bury it and make sure to thank it because this is a being with energy, all right? Just like you would thank your oils, you would thank your water, and you release it back to the earth. But if you have a powerful stone like this one that is constantly regenerating itself, and you are respecting the energy in it by not just letting it collect energy, but also letting it release. And with that, you would put it in water and let it sit in the sun, and then you would take the water and you can just take it outside and pour it, or if you need to, just pour it down the drain. But here's what you do with this. You place it on your throat. See, even with that, it opened up my heart, my chest. I feel it here in my throat. Now, I've had an issue with asthma for years. Welcome back, Brandon. Thank you. And so I was really frustrated because yesterday I ended up on my ride home, I ended up having to pull out my asthma pump, which I've done a lot of work on myself so that I've gotten to the place. Oh, you know what? I never changed the name of my doggone it. I knew there was one more thing. I'm noticing that I didn't change the name of the video for today. Today is Neferet. All right. Sorry about this. Every time, I think I have everything, Art of successful communication. Okay. See, the hard thing is because I started the podcast, it's probably not going to change, but my bad. Okay. Learn how to take command over your communication style with ancient Kemetic wisdom for success today. There we go. Okay. And now I have to change these hashtags and see. This is what happens when you doing everything. Okay. Even the time it took to put the graphics together today. That's okay because I actually love this. Yes, I do. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes, for those of you who are just joining, the actual title, we pull it up again for you to see. We're dealing with the art of communication today. And it's really ironic. I'm still healing from this oral surgery. They told me it was going to take several months. The oral surgeon told me that. He was not kidding. Wow, he was really not kidding. So sometimes I still kind of stumble over words, We're talking about Neferet. And this is the title for today. Neferet, the art of successful communication. This is a great time for a little break. Yes, this is Shenu Living. I am your hostess, Queen Mother Imakhu, and it is my pleasure to be with you to share more words of wisdom from our ancient Kemetic ancestors, which actually are so apropos for today. I have not come across anything in ancient Kemetic writings or anything they left behind that does not apply in this world today. That's the really amazing part of it. Just wonderful. So I really like to say that the Kemetic teachings are the original motivational talks and messages, and that the Hekahu are the words of power that were left behind, or another form of affirmations and mysticism. Okay. All right. And are there any questions so far? Because I'm going to be closing very soon. I was saying about this. Okay. This is an excellent stone for healing. Okay. The throat. You'll find also if you catch a cold and you get a cough, this is great for opening things up. I was telling you before about my asthma pump and really being upset about having to use it yesterday. I do have to carry it on me just in case, because your throat closes up and you really, unless you got a death wish, you don't want to expire. So then I just wanted to share also with you this cough medicine. This is a wonderful holistic cough medicine called Herbion. I'll show you the box. or beyond cough syrup. And so you can find this on Amazon and in your general health food store. It has thyme and licorice. I talked the other day about mullein. I use this to heal my lungs because I used to have holes in my lungs because I used to get pneumonia every 3-4 times a year ever since I was 12. And so that pattern stopped when I started really doing work on my lungs because a pulmonary specialist said, you can't get pneumonia anymore because at this point your body is beat up and so are your lungs, and you get it one more time and you will not be here. Okay. So I took him at his word and I started doing serious work on healing my lungs. And so now I don't have any holes in my lungs. There's not holes, spots on my lungs. There's a difference. I had spots on my lungs, and I don't have spots on my lungs anymore. But I still occasionally will do this just to help to firm up my lungs. Mullein. Colds greatly affect your throat, not only from coughing, but also, you've got the mucus and all this other stuff. So stay on top of your vitamin C because this helps to eliminate colds. Okay. And lastly, along those lines, we do reflexology. We take our forefinger and thumb and pinch this webbing, the skin in between the forefinger and thumb on the other hand to boost the immune system. The immune system is deeply tied in with your lungs, but you want to just do general reflexology anyway. I'll cover that in an upcoming podcast. Now, some of you probably recognize this from when this used to hang on my wall in the home that I was in for 5 years. Okay, and this was in my sacred space. This is from the seven principles. We were talking about the Kabbalion and the 7 principles that are in it. And so I made a separate wall altar for each one of them. And so you see on here, there is the symbol Neferet. This has gotten kind of warped because of some moisture that accumulated, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, so here is a symbol that I created, which is sort of a composite in the symbol for this principle. And this principle is actually the 3rd principle, is the principle of vibration. The principle of vibration. Now, when I really started throwing myself deeply into the studies of the 7 principles from the Kabbalion, which is supposed to be the teachings of Jehuti, then I also found the proper correlations for ancient texts that would go along with it. This particular one is like a mystery symbol that, like I said, I created. My students who have started studying this, who started studying the Kabbalion, started learning about these symbols, and I understand the importance of having symbols to inspire you, but also to protect you and also to protect the integrity of what is being conveyed, because there are people who just aren't ready for it, who don't need it, who will abuse it, and don't need to be teaching it, or don't need even to be at certain levels. This whole thing with the 7 principles is a whole other level of intensity. But the principle of vibration is that nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. I know that may seem like a really strange concept to some, but everything does have a vibration. Now, this, of course, deals with the heart, the throat, and the mouth, and also the active breathing, but also the vibrations that exist everywhere. And the symbol for water is also a symbol for energy in the Kemetic language, and is associated with N, N, the N sound, which some actually say is more like enye in Spanish, but it is associated with the N sound. So definitely with Nefer, Neferet, with Nifu. And the scripture that I have that goes along with it. Oh, the throne. The throne is here because the throne of Ast. You command your seat with what you say or what you do not say. And that is said to be you truly being on your throne, knowing how to wield words and uh, the command that comes from divine speech, makeru. Makeru is the goal. It is what elevates you, and it is what gives you a stronger sense of when and how to act. So, the scripture that goes along with this is from the Peret Emcheru, Wutuni nesetni, heki zi imrei. I have commanded my seat. I rule through my mouth. And then also Jedet Ger Ikawi, speaking and silence, or through speech and through silence, I maintain exact balance. I'm going to leave us there. And just have us end with a meditation, focusing on the Neferet symbol. I'm going to bring the visual back up of Neferet on her throne. And also, this will give you a chance to really focus on whether you could say that you are of good character. Is your speech divine? Do you have makeru? What do people say after you speak? Sometimes you can say good things, and maybe it's something, there's some things that people aren't ready to receive, but they recognize that it's truth. And it's just up for them to deal with how they're going to absorb it, or if they're going to absorb it. But if you have a reputation for speaking truth tactfully, but effectively, and even if it's your truth, then it commands respect. Shaisha. Let's focus on surrounding ourselves in divine light. And there is one more thing I'd like to add. The fish that is on Hatmayit's crown symbolizes much more than abundance. It is also associated with a particular star system. And I'll share that in the next live, because that's a whole other discussion. Let's focus on our breathing. Inhale is Serek. Serek. Nifa. Serek. Exhale, Nifa. Serek. Nifa. Relax your breathing. Bring your hands, your fingertips in particular, gently to your throat area. As you do that, rest your hands on your chest. As you focus on your breathing, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Focus on the blessing of your life, the blessing of divine breath, the beauty of being able to communicate, the cleverness that comes from communicating in other ways. You know, there are those who cannot speak, but then learn how to speak with their hands. Focus on the goodness of your character, the goodness that you want to have fill you up, truly attracting goodness, beauty, happiness, love. And say, Anuk Neferet. I am Neferet. I am goodness. I am beautiful. I am happy. I am successful. The words that I speak reflect my success, draw success, inspire success. Mu Neferet. I flow in success. And as I count down from 10 to 1, we'll bring all of these positive feelings with us as we return back to the presence of our rooms. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Nifa. Exhale. Last time. Draw your breath in. Slowly release. Relax your breathing. Let's do a quick check-in. How is everyone? If you have a piece of lapis lazuli, and now is a good time to kind of ground yourself with it. If you buy jewelry with healing stones in them, make sure that you cleanse them after you receive them, unless they've been consecrated for you by a an official elder or priest or priestess. And even after receiving them, make sure that you pray over them and make sure that you keep them in a sacred place. Lapis lazuli happens to be one of the sacred stones for Shenu. And once upon a time, I used to hand string the sacred necklaces that we would wear, and that also would have a sacred symbol at the bottom. Um, but I found that it was important for people to do a lot more work around them, because with something especially as sacred as lapis lazuli, I mean, they can break if you come out of your face wrong. If you are not in my eight, if you are really feeling a lot of venom, actually, you're not even supposed to be wearing them if you're in a bad place. You're just not, okay? that's that's to protect the stones, but also to protect you, because the fact that generally, if it's done right, then they're charged up in a way that will um, will be protective, all right, but also will be enhancing to you. Yeah. Brandon says, feeling the energies of water flow. Give thanks. That's a wonderful thing. And that's perfect. Flow. The color for Neferet, for the throat, irit, is blue. And blue, kesbed, is um, is calming. It is, um, again, it is flowing. It is also trust, and bringing trustworthy people into your life, but also you're communicating trust. What the colors that you wear mean a big deal. That's why I went out of my way to select this blue outfit, so that it would be consistent with our talk today. Shes my age. Shes my age means consistency. And so consistency in all that you do. And if you're also working for consistency in your life, you would want to use yellow, because it is the will and helps to build up the will and take away cowardice. You also want to wear tiger's eye, because of the fact that it does bring courage, because a lot of times inconsistency can come from being afraid to step into something or to step up. Other times it's just you're just kind of thrown off, right? So this is a thing where you should be courageous about living your best life. So yellow, and then tiger's eye, but then also blue for the throat and for trust, and trusting that by being consistent, that it's okay, especially if you've gone through trauma and you're thrown off. Being able to step back into the path can be a little scary, because the fact that you had a consistent routine before, but then you're also experiencing a lot of traumatic things in your life, maybe the death of a loved one, maybe illness, maybe your own illness, maybe losing your job. I mean, when you lost your job, listen, you've lost your routine, because you had consistency every day. For the most part, if you had a schedule of some kind and you knew you were going to go here, you're going to do this. But now all of a sudden you're just kind of rambling, you're lost. And you can be afraid to step back into that energy, because you got so much comfort from having the routine. So get your lapis lazuli, do your work. You can also use it at your heart as well. And also I'm telling you, it's like a halo. You can also use this at your solar plexus, Sunkti, and also at the back of the head, which is considered the mother seat, which brings feelings of security. We say Anuk Ardi, I am secure. Oh, that went all the way down my spine. I love it. I love it. All right. So tomorrow we'll be talking about the sacred texts that go along with this philosophy of Makeru, which is good speech, and also of Neferet, which is goodness and speaking well and owning your power, and how being able to communicate effectively will take you into places that you may never have even dreamed of. Yes, indeed. All right. So I am Reverend Queen Mother Imakhu. It has been my pleasure to be with you here today. And As usual, we end by saying Merea, which means much love, Heri, which means be at peace, Teni, which means be accountable, and Jebewi, which means to be merciful, but also remember to apply the right amount of mercy to yourself. Reswina Chen, sweet dreams.